Hey there. Okay, I just got it's free gift in a magazine, Simply Cards and Paper Craft, and it's a Crafter's blending foam, which I've wanted for a while. You can use it to blend chalks. I've got chalks here, and I've literally just got this little pad thing, but you can also use it for inks as well. And so this foam can actually be cut. Now I was just looking at this in the packet. The way it was stuck down wasn't straight, so but anyway, so you can use this to apply ink to your projects, or glue. You know, you can use it. It's fairly easy to use. And what I thought I'd decide to do was when you go and buy the ones in the shop, they're about this size basically, and they come with a handle. So if you've got any bits of wood or that you want to use, you can. I found these. Now these are small bits of wood, and it's a Jenga piece, and it measures about 1 inch, 1 by 3 approximately, just a bit smaller. And what I thought would be useful is I can either use this surface, or I can do a couple of smaller ones so that if I'm blending I can use it like that. So I'm going to do both. I've got two, and what I'll probably do is one on each side. So what we're going to do is just measure it around. Now the other thing before we go is it's double-sided. So measure out as many as you might need for your project, but then on the reverse, or you can use this side if you want, you can create your own stamps, which is quite cool. I mean, you don't have to stick it onto anything, so you could actually have a dual purpose piece. So all I'm going to do is take my copying pencil, but it shows through on any surface, and all I'm going to do is cut it out. Obviously you can use a knife, but I've wanted some of these blending foams forever. So, you know, obviously if you cut it straight you'll get a better feel, and basically this is then going to be able to do that. And you can, you know, use for a variety of projects, but actually I think what I'm going to do is just cut off this bit that's hanging and just make the smaller ones, because the other thing I wanted to do was to maybe have one per colour. So all I'm going to do is get my glue, and I'm just going to apply glue to the end here. These little Jenga pieces are really versatile. I mean, you can actually stamp on them, you know, use them as a surface to create on them. which is good. And I have made some letter stamps using them. So again, the same principle, cutting out the stamp and then sticking it to the end, and then you've got a stamp, you know, letters that you can use. So that's one. I should get 4. And this glue is quite strong, so you know it will stay quite well. Just leave it to dry. And disappeared. Okay, I cut out the last 2. Why does it keep going in there? Just flicking. Okay, so just do the other end. So I'll put that to dry. And my last piece, I think I might just leave this as a larger size. So I've got an option there. And just cut off the bit that's hanging, because I don't need that bit. Neaten it up a bit. Apply the glue. Stick it down. And there you have. Get your own blending sticks. So I'm going to put these down so that they can dry on my shelf. Just here. Just decided it was going to fall off. So what you might choose to do is to let one side dry first before you do the other. So I'm just going to put it on the shelf, just have to move some bits out for me. Okay, right, that's the next thing. So you've still got quite a bit, and you know, you can just going to neaten it up because it's annoying me seeing that it's not straight. You've got some foam hanging off and some of the white foam, and then some of the. Okay, what I'm going to do is just cut a few more, and these ones I'm just going to use by just holding this. So again, let me get which journal should we use? Okay, I'll just get a small one so that you can see how the chalk see, it's as if I mean, it's very similar to this, but it covers a wider area. This has got some other stuff on it, but you get I think you get a nicer smoother finish. It's softer. So I will cut a few up just so that I've got enough to use with my inks as well as the chalks. And as I say, it's up to you how big you want them. I just want smaller sizes so that I can, you know, they're handy sizes. And then the other thing I can do is, if I wanted to, I can make mini stamps on the back, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. So we just cut them up, and they're like, you know, about an inch big. And then we've got the smaller ones, which is attached to the wood. This one decided to come off. With this glue, it really is strong, but sometimes you need to just give it a minute or so and let it dry slightly. I think there was probably a lot on there, so that's why it came off. Okay, that should be fine. Okay, right, now, so I've got a few here, and that will do me. Let me show you how I might texturize this side to maybe use as a stamp. So I would just get, I've got, you know, different tools. This is something to give you serrated edges. I've got the embossing tools that you can use, and really, you know, you can either try and draw with them on the foam. You can use a knife to give you some patterns, and if you just these tools do work, and you're literally just making an indentation on the foam. So you can poke them, you can make little dots. You can use this tool and it will also make patterns on there. Or if you had the bigger one, you know, you can actually do a pattern on there. I'll get this one. Oops, sorry, that's my phone. Hello? Hiya. Yeah. Where are you? I said, where are you? You're what? You're with Daddy? Oh, alright, so you realised you didn't have your oyster? Okay, so he picked you up. Because I found your trousers downstairs and I was going to do a wash, and it was in there. Yeah. Okay. Alright then. Alright, see you soon. Okay, bye. Okay, drama over. So, you know, as you will, just do some shapes in there. And this is really just a good way to do texture. So now, what do we have? I'll show you how that looks. So again, we get the book. Got my stamp pad here, and you just press it in. See how it takes. It's very faint. And this is dried out, that's why. I need to re-ink them. There you see. And that's just from adding a little bit of texture in there, and you get an interesting pattern. We've also got this mask, which came with as part of the free gift, and it's like a stencil basically. So I'm going to find another, maybe the same page, I'll find it. Okay, so with this you can, I've got an embossing plate basically, or we can, using the inks or the blending chalks, we can apply some colour, and we can just go in there with the sponge and add colour. I'm just going to turn it around and use some red, just to give you a like that. And when you lift it off, you've got a really lovely effect. So you can use paint, you can use inks, you can, and the thing about, I just wanted to see how you can soften the effect if you didn't want it so vibrant. You can use spray, like that, and get some nice effects. And then what I do with this is just turn it over. And this is a good way of adding, you know, doing your backgrounds. And then I just take this and then I'll put it through another page and get off all the paint, and you've then got you know, a background that's started. And this is how I do a lot of my pages in advance. I get things that have already got ink on them that I've used that I'm not I don't need to use anymore, but I will use it to take off the ink there. So that's a nice kind of background. This was the reverse of that. That was the outside, but it's got a really nice shape. So this is going to prove invaluable in terms of, you know, doing your backgrounds and stuff like that. And you can look and see if you've got I mean, I've been collecting stencils for a very long time, and I will show you over the years some of the stencils I've created. Just tidy up there. Okay, I'll show you some of the stencils. So some of them I've brought from, I can't remember their name now, see if we can find it in here. Right, so this was a free gift, and it's just got loads of shapes, different shapes. I've got some templates here. Okay, so let me see if I can. There was a book, and it had uncut stencils that you could cut out, and this is basically how the pages came. I'll show you actually pages here. Comes on a page, and you can get like different styles. So I think this, I've got Egypt, and there's a kind of flowery style, Chinese gardening style. And basically all I did with these pages was to cover them with linseed oil, and that strengthens them. You can also, if you want, coat them with PVA glue. That will dry, thin layer, and that will dry quite nicely, and then cut them out. So there's some that I then proceeded to cut out and use them in projects. It's good for backgrounds or for patterns. Some of the flower ones are really nice. You know, Japanese gardens, freesias and things like that. And then I got some at the DIY store. At one point they did a lot of stencils because people were using it a lot in their home decorating. So there's some with bows, and then the other thing I did was when I was using punches now to cut out shapes, which is not that, you can use what's left as a stencil. So this one was again from a home decorating store, and this was like a runner around the top or the middle of your hat of the wall. But you can, you know, it's very nice to add it as a decorative feature. And these are ones that just need to be filed back. And those two. These were the ones that I was going to start cutting, but as you can see, it had, so if you had a corner, it gave you the corner piece and then the piece that would, yeah, like that, piece that would then be the length. So I'm in the middle of cutting that out, but you can find other things to use as stencils. So I've got a cricket and I cut out loads of flowers, and then this, not only am I able to use this as a stencil, I can also use this to stick on pages, and I'll show you one of the pages that I did. It's this one, so you can see where I've used this stencil, and basically I've stuck it down on the page like that, and then I've gone over it. But you've got the nice, underneath you've got the texture of the flowers that you can use on your page. And I've got some words that I've cut out, and again, this just, you know, using that and using, say, the spray bottle on a page just adds a different look to the background. So we've got those, and then we've got things like, this is just wire mesh, and this is what you might use in the garden, but it creates a nice pattern. So in the garden you'd use it to either enclose plants to stop it from being, you know, eaten by the birds, or for a fencing, you know, low fencing. We've got doilies here. When you spray through these, or use, you know, use the inks or the chalks, you get nice patterns. And this is more of the cricket cut pages. These look like houses, so I've used this, I've cut out quite a few of these and then used these, and they look like houses, which gives it a nice feature depending on what you're working on. And again, this one is, you know, from a home decorating thing. I've not really cleaned it very well. I mean, it's watercolour. But these are flowers, and this came as a larger sheet and had different elements to it, and then you punch out the flowers. I didn't do all of this because I was mainly concentrating on this flower. More doilies. And then these were the hand punches, where I've, you know, used the hand punch to cut out a shape. I've kept these, and I've just put PVA glue on it, and these, you can use these for a few times and then stick them in your journal. And as you can see, so this is a Japanese, it's like a Japanese or Chinese garden. So I had loads of, you know, different kind of flowers and stuff like that you can cut out, or images like that. You can use parts of it, you don't have to use all of it, you know, you decide which ones you want to use. So keep your eye out, you know, even sometimes in the children's section you find some nice stencils that you can use. But the main aim is, you know, obviously to give you some interesting backgrounds that you can use. So I need to sort this out. So thanks for joining me.